Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going through all the books that I read in the month of February. I don't know if I've ever recorded a video here. I don't think I have since I've been here, but welcome to my little relaxation corner where I like to read or just sit and meet with Jesus or just relax and color and listen to an audiobook. Anyway, just a few bookish things. If you want to follow me on TikTok, I do post about all the books that I read at the end of the month. Hello, my sweet baby Ember. Also, I do have a video coming out where I talk about Little Miss Ember. So if you haven't seen that, that's Ember, and I will introduce you more there. In terms of all the bookish things that I have going on, you can follow me on Fable. It'll also be linked down below. I also have Goodreads, but I don't keep stuff up on Goodreads, if I'm being so real. And any of the books that I talk about came from either Audible, Spotify, within the audiobook time limit that you get with your subscription, which is 15 hours, I believe. Honestly, it's not enough, but what do I know? Spotify, if you're out here listening, we need more than 15 hours. If I'm going to be paying $12 a month, make it unlimited, like the music. I don't know. Or if you don't use it, make it roll over. That is literally all I'm asking. Again, Spotify, if you hear this, if you see this, please take my thought into consideration. That's all. Thank you. I also use this online app called Libby, and it is basically an electronic library that you can set up with your local library account and set up your library card to it, and you can borrow books. The only thing about Libby that kind of is frustrating, sometimes you do have to wait. And they do have an available now section, but like if you're looking for a specific book and your library doesn't have it available, you do have to wait, and sometimes it takes about 6 weeks or longer, honestly. So that's the only downside about Libby, but other than that, I can always find a book that I'm thinking about, or I'm okay with waiting to get the book to read it. So the choice is yours. I also have Kindle Unlimited. I do enjoy Kindle Unlimited. There are so many books out there. There's a lot of stuff your Kindle days out there. So just follow that on TikTok. I don't keep up with that stuff. There are other people out in the world who do it for me. So yeah. But that's all I have to say about that. Now I'm going to get into the books that I read. I read a total of 8 books in the month of February. The books that I read this month were biggins. You know, I only have one physical book this month. I am reading the Throne of Glass series, and I have borrowed every single one except for this one, where I've actually bought the physical copy, and it is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Now, this book, she was good. However, it wasn't my favorite in the series. I did still give it 4.5 stars. I will say, I'm so glad that Arabin and the King are dead. I've been waiting for Arabin to die since, let's think, since Assassin's Blade. I'm not gonna cap. Can't stand a man. After he killed Sam like that, and after I found out that he basically he did not care about Selena, Aelin, and it showed. Always try to get her back in his her good graces, and I'm just like, no, stop, Arwen, leave her alone. Like, you killed Sam. You worked with what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. With the man that basically killed Sam. And you want me to come back to you and you want to talk about some I'm sorry? You're not sorry. It's a lie. And I will never forgive him for that. But you know, luckily for me, I don't have to. And I'm so glad that Lysandra did the killing blow. Because she was a victim too. But essentially this whole book is just Selena becomes Aelin, or like she embraces that she is Aelin Galathinius, Queen of Terrasen. Yeah, Queen. And they're trying to save Dorian. But at the same time, she really ain't trying to save Dorian. Like, she cares about Dorian. She really does love him. And like, she genuinely does care for him as a friend. But then at the same time, if they couldn't save him, He was finna die. But they saved the day and they saved Dorian. They break the collar and they killed the king. Come to find out that the king has been possessed since they were kids. Since Aelin, Aedion, and Dorian have been kids, bro. And also, I just gotta talk about how much I still couldn't stand Chaol in this book because every 5 seconds he wants to blame Aelin that this is her fault. And where was she when they needed the help? And where was she when they put the collar on Dorian? Gone. She was gone. Okay, she wasn't there, and she'll never love you again, Chaol. Get over it. Clearly, you done found somebody else. Go be with Nezrin. I did low key kind of feel bad for the king because like he was enslaved and he did want to protect his son, but then at the same time, the Vogue, they didn't care and they still took him and enslaved him anyway. So I wanted to give it 5 stars, and honestly, I want to say 4.5 was me being nice. Honestly, I would give it a 3.75. Again, Chaol ruined this book for me. I will also say that I am glad that Lysandra and Aelin are friends. I love the girly popness of that. They needed to be friends. Like, I don't understand why they were hating each other when they could have been friends. And now they're besties. Also, in this book, I can't remember. Her being a shapeshifter, kind of tea. I don't remember if it's in this one or in the tandem read. But I'll move on to that because I feel like I've talked about this book enough. Now, on to the tandem read. I borrowed these from Becca, so thank you, sweet baby Becca. I really appreciated that you already had these marked out because the tandem read was daunting. It's a lot of book. But I will say, like, once I got over, like, the slowness of Tower of Dawn, like, Empire Storms was like this the whole time, pretty much. Tower of Dawn, it was just a slow start. Although I will say I feel bad for Chaol. Don't hate the player. All I gotta say is that Sarah, you did not need to sever that boy's spine like that. And making this the whole, honestly, like, I get because it made the whole premise of the book low key, but like that was brutal. But it was a good book. That's pushing it. I rated it 3 stars. Even. I sure did. Let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, I did not love how the whole book was about Chaol not being able to walk. Didn't care. Felt bad for the first few chapters, and then I'm like, man, he really ain't gonna walk right now. And he really didn't until the end of the book, which was crazy. I will say though, I'm glad that him and Nezrin like didn't end up getting together because honestly, when reading in Queen of Shadows, it just seemed like it was a convenience thing, and I don't care whether or not you guys are together or not. And neither did Aelin. Sorry, I wasn't feeling it. But Nezrin and Sartak, that was tea. I liked how they got their little storyline. I will say that I did like Chaol and Irene. And I was like, oh, I kind of think they're cute. But at the same time, once they had their little intimate scenes, I found myself saying, yeah, no, I don't care. That was kind of awkward. Kind of just flipped through those pages because I didn't care. All I have to say about Tower of Dawn, like, I liked how it got tied into Empire Storms. So now we're going to talk about Empire Storms. Now, Empire Storms, that was a 5-star read. Yeah. It trumped Queen of Shadows. And honestly, it trumped Airfire. Yeah. That one's probably my favorite. Airfire was really, really, really good because like we really got the inside scoop of Aelin. The Empire Storms, she was that girl. First of all, what is up with us not getting a wedding book? Can we talk about that for a second? The last 3 books that I've read, the authors have said, you want a wedding? Oh, watch this, you're not getting it. And magically, they're married. Because at the end of the book, what do you mean Aelin and Rowan are married? Ooh, I've never boohoo cried so hard. Because, hold on, can we just talk about how Maeve was the queen of the Vogue, and they're over here talking about a Vogue queen, a Vogue queen. I'm like, who the heck are they talking about? Who is this Vogue queen? It's Maeve, her auntie. What? That Rowan was like, where is she? Where is my wife? Oh, you're hurting me in here. But I loved the love in the book. I loved Lorcan and a lead storyline because at first I was like, what is the purpose of their storyline? I don't care. Like, I really don't care about Elite, and I really don't care about Lorcan because I don't know what side he's playing. Well, he wanted to leave Maeve as much as he could because he's bound to her. I did feel bad for Gabriel, Adian's daddy, because he did try. I got where Adian was coming from, but I felt bad for the daddy. I did love that Adian and Lysandra got together. Everybody had somebody, and I love that. And I love that Dorian and Manon were together. I love Manon. I do. I did. At first, when they brought her into, I think they brought her into Air of Fire, and I was like, who the heck is this chick? And I don't care. When I tell you, like, Empire of Storms really brought all the other books together. Like, it brought in Assassin's Blade because we bring back the redhead, and then they brought the Pirate King. Oh, and then they brought the Silent Assassins, and like all these people were coming together. Rowan's trying to find Aelin, and I'm like, she's gone. Like, it was so good. Like, it was so good. Like, probably will be one of my favorite books of all year. Now we're moving on to Lightlark, Nightshade. I rated this 5 stars. I did. Because it honestly had me sitting. Again, gave me a book where you got a couple and they get married and you don't even get a wedding. What? So for Nightshade, so this is the continuation of Lightlark, and the curses are now broken. Isla now rules not only the wildlings, but she also rules the Starling Kingdom. But after she like gets her powers and everything, like she get like Grimm casts this like vision, like basically saying, I'm gonna get Isla back and you guys have 30 days or I'm gonna start a war. She's like, we ain't having that because I can't trust you anymore. Because you straight up lied to my face because we've been together this whole time. What? And then you wipe my memories. Huh? Grimm, why would you do that? That's basically what Isa's saying. She gets these flashbacks, and it's from her point of view, it's like Grimm is upset that she chose Aro and that he's coming to fight to win her back. On top of this, like she's going to figure out how to get Grimm to like basically back off because he has his sword. And then she's getting these memories back. And as she's getting these memories back, she's remembering things about Grimm. All these getting these bits and pieces of information. She's remembering why she loves Grimm and this, that, and the third. And she's basically falling back in love with Grimm while she's with Oro. And she's just very conflicted. Come to find out that, that memory that she had, or that vision that she had, it was really a memory and she did it. So that was cool. Basically, at the end of the book, he's like, where's my wife? And I'm like, I had my jaw on the floor. It was really good. People be hating on Lightlark, but I thought it was good. So, I don't know, guys. So then the next book that I read was Skyshade. Now, this one was my least favorite out of the 3 books. Honestly, from my understanding, I thought that it was just going to be a trilogy. I was wrong. Because this book also ended on a cliffhanger. In Nightbane? Oh my gosh, I'm over here saying that Nightshade, it's Nightbane, my bad. So in Nightbane, there is a prophecy, and the prophecy is either Isa's gonna kill Oro or Grimm. She's like, I can't kill either one of them because if I kill Grimm, then it kills me. And I love Grimm, but then she also loves Oro, and like if she kills Oro, then it kills Lightlark. So it's like she's in this whole she's in a bit of a tizzy, to say the least. So she is learning how to use her magic so that she is able to save Grimm's life, by sacrificing herself in the process. So she is dying throughout the whole course of this book. But Grimm and Isla are bound, for better or for worse, and by a love bond. So if Grimm dies, Isla also dies, and vice versa. So people are like starting to hate Isla, and you're kind of confused as to why that is. We'll come to find out that there is another evil being that Isla's basically been talking to. She thinks that she's talking to Celeste, her BFF, who's really Aurora. Part of the prophecy was either going to save the world or destroy it. So she thought that that meant either killing Grimm or Oro. So yeah, she needs to kill Lark. But the only way to kill Lark is to send her back to where she came from. So that's how the book ends. But I just found myself getting very annoyed with Isla because she was going back and forth whether or not she wanted to be with Grimm or Aro, which is fine. But like at the same time, baby, we need to get over it. Like I know that you felt like you were obligated to go back with Grimm because you did a big bad no, but we need to get over it, babe. So I think I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. So all right, I think that's the last of the fantasy that I read because honestly, after the tandem read, I was mentally unwell with the fantasy. So the next book that I read was Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. I thought this was really really good, and I gave it 4.5 stars. And the only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars because it felt like it dragged in some places. Like we're going back and forth about whether or not like we're gonna stay, we're gonna go. Mind you, they're driving to this chapel because the wife went on vacation at this chapel. So her and her husband go. The only thing is that her husband has facial blindness, so like he can't remember people. Like he remembers things about them, but he can't remember people. I can face you and then I can turn around and you're gonna forget what I look like. This husband and wife are basically in a rocky relationship. It is their 10-year wedding anniversary, I believe. And they're going here to like, basically rekindle their marriage and everything. The chapel that they're in is locked when they first get there. I don't know, it's very off-putting because he has facial blindness. The wife has a coworker and they look very similar, but not at first because they have different colored hair and stuff like that, just little features like that. Well, one day she comes in and looks like the wife. And they thought that was odd, and she comes to their house crying, and the husband like consoles her. Again, they've been married for 10 years. He's more affectionate with this coworker than he is with her. So it kind of gives like they're cheating, like they're giving cheating. They're really not, but they are. And you find that out later. They get divorced and he stays with the woman that he cheated with. This whole time you're getting these letters and you're like, oh, like she wasn't going to give these letters to her husband. She was just going to write them and just basically write to her husband basically what happened that year that they were married. And it's just crazy, and turns out it's just craziness, and you just need to read it. The only thing that I will say though is that the ending was kind of weird because like the book could have ended and you gave this extra synopsis, but I would definitely read another Alice Feeney book. Next book that I read was Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I gave this 3 stars, but I thought it was good. I just honestly it didn't give what I wanted it to give. Plot twists. Honestly, I wasn't so shocked by it. There was parts of it where, well, I kind of like this part, but like there were parts where you're like, is this character dead? Is he not dead? Well, I'm gonna read the synopsis. A husband disappearance links 2 couples in this twisty thriller. Jake Hayes is missing. This much is certain. At first, his wife Nina thinks that he's blowing off steam at a friend's house after a heated fight from the night before. But then a day goes by, 2 days, 5, and Jake is still nowhere to be found. Lily Scott, Nina's best friend and co-worker, thinks that she might have been the last to see Jake before he went missing. After Lily confesses everything to her husband, Christian, the two decide that nobody can find out what happened leading up to Jake's disappearance, especially not Nina. But Nina is out here looking for her husband, and she won't stop until she discovers the truth. So, it was good. There were parts where I was like, oop, I honestly wasn't expecting that. And the last book that I read was The Push by Audrey Ashley. I gave this a 3.5 star. And honestly, I kind of feel guilty for giving it a 3.5 star because it was a very dark book, honestly. Like it was very sad. Blythe Connor doesn't want history to repeat itself. Violet is her first child and she will give her daughter all the love she deserves, all the love that her own mother withheld. Firstborns are never easy, and Violet is demanding and fretful. She never smiles. Soon Blythe believes that she can do nothing right, that something's very wrong, either with her daughter or herself. Her husband Fox says that she's imagining it, but Violet's different with him. He can't understand what Blythe suffered as a child. No one can. Blythe wants to be a good mother, but what if that's not enough for Violet or her marriage? What if she can't see the darkness coming? Mother and daughter, angel and monster. We don't get to choose our inheritance or who we are. Yeah, so basically, there's this mother named Blythe, and she has a child, and she's just so excited to have this child because she has a good marriage. Like she comes from a loving man. Like she didn't come from a loving home, so like she wanted to provide love and everything that she didn't have as a kid. However, after she has her child, it would seem like she has postpartum depression, but like it's just something more than that, basically, because it's told through Blythe's point of view. Just something more to that. Like, they never really bonded. It honestly just was kind of sad that they never bonded because, like, I'm sure this happens to people in real life. Maybe not what happened in this book, but honestly, probably. Yeah, for the first, like, 5 years of Violet's life, like, she's really trying, but, like, her daughter's, like, is a plotter and she kills people. She killed this little boy and she was messing with people at school and she would explain this to her husband, but she was like, no, like she's just a kid. Like I don't understand why like you're having such a hard time with her and da 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 da. But like he never like any offered her any support and it kind of like just rubbed me the wrong way that he just like thought that she was imagining things because he's just so or Violet's so good with him and like just little things like that. And I was like, sir, help your wife, not just your child, okay? Mother-in-law was kind of helpful, but then at times like she wasn't because she had her son. Blythe ends up having another child, and she has a little boy, and she absolutely loves this boy, and like there's no problems, everything like that. And like at first, Violet was like okay and happy to have a little brother, but then things take a dark twist. Just honestly, like this book is just, whew, it was just, whew. And the ending was not very satisfactory because you wanted to know like if Violet was really like a sociopath or psychopath, and it kind of gets hinted at the end, but we just don't know. Those were all the books that I read in the month of February. I start school again in next week, actually, and I don't know how many books I'm going to read in the month of March. I'm going to try to aim for at least 4. Yeah, but we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed me just ranting and raving about books, and I will see you guys next time. Peace and blessings. Bye, guys.